this sketch right here is what I always do before I do a painting, and I break things down into 5 values. The very lightest will be the clouds. Number 2 will be the sky, and the foreground between the tracks is pretty light. I have middle value is sort of a green that I'm going to put around the lawn area. Clearly, the building itself is very dark, so it's either 4 or 5. And I decided that I would make the tree behind the train station darker than the station itself. You could decide that you might want the tree to be lighter and make the station darker, but I decided to go the other way. So let me put this aside.
I'm quite attracted to this red wood shed down here. The building is very interesting. In fact, the angles on the roof is fascinating, but it's awfully dark. And so I'm not going to make my focal point be this. And I decided I wouldn't draw in a locomotive. So my focal point will be sort of some bright reds down here. And then, of course, some lovely sky and clouds and sort of an old-timey scene with this old station. Okay, so I'm going to start with a wash of. I'm putting just water. So those of you, whether you're in the classroom here, in the studio, or at home, just watch. I know watching water go on is a little bit dull. I'm going sort of around my clouds, but not totally. I'm going right into the tree. I'm going right around this roof.
You're going into the trees, right?
Yep, right into the trees. Boom, boom. So most of almost like 2/3 of the piece of paper is going to be covered in water. The only place I'm not putting water is over my buildings. Up there, around. Okay, because you're going to see I'm going to float a lot of color on here right at the beginning. Sarah, you okay with colors and
Well, I did water
drawing?
over the entire thing, so no.
You what?
I did water over the entire thing, so I'm just getting it off the building.
Well, don't do it in. Just it'll dry. By the time I finish, it will dry. So don't fuss with it, or don't worry about it. Okay, I'm just checking, make sure. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there's a lot of water on there, and I can put in pretty strong color. I'm grabbing a little bit of color with my brush into the ultramarine and a little bit of cerulean. And I'm just gonna, I gotta get this color pretty strong because you will find that colors dry lighter in watercolor. So if I put it on, it looks, oh my gosh, it's too strong. I'll come back later and say, oh, I wish I put more color into that. Okay, so don't try to paint with me, Karen. Okay. Just watch for now. And then I will stop after 8 minutes, and then I will say, okay, now you guys do the sky. Yeah, okay, here we go. Keep that blue going. Oh, I just went through some white. Oh, darn it. Oh, dear. Oh, we're going to have to start all over again. What did I say at the beginning? You can always fix mistakes. Okay, and I'm just putting a little bit of blue down here so I don't have a hard edge when my blue stops. And this, I'm just going to take a little bit of water. I'm just pushing it down. And this area here, I'm just going to clean that up. Gosh, I feel like it. Okay, now, here's the lesson for today of making clouds. I'm going to take a paper towel, and I'm going to use my thumb and just push and make round fluffy. And I want to get a nice big cloud up here. So I even had some blue up there, but now I've eliminated that with my, and over here, let's get rid of that blue there. Boom. Push, push, push. And well, maybe I have a little bit of blue. No, I don't know if I want more. I was thinking about putting more clouds underneath those, but I don't think I want that. Okay, now while the paint is still, the paper's still a little bit wet, I'm adding a little bit of, and I will stop in a moment and let you guys paint, but I'm gonna put in a little bit of alizarin crimson into my blue and say that underneath the clouds, it's often a little bit darker. And I happen to be using ultramarine. Do I want to use, what am I gonna do here? I got another cloud bank in there. A little bit of alizarin coming through here. And then the light is coming and hitting the side of this building pretty strongly. That roof is very light. So the clouds are being touched on the right side, but the left sides are going to have a little bit of shadow to them. Because clouds do have shadows. And where the edges seem to be a little bit sharp, I can add a little bit of color. Going underneath there, and I think I got a little too strong over there, so I'm just going to fluff that out. And now it's just pure water, picking up some of that color and getting back some of the white. And you gotta just sort of think that these clouds are like ice cream, you know, just lumps. Not wild. This area I don't like. I'm gonna put some darks through there. I was thinking I'd have a second row of clouds, but I'm really not going to. So I'm making some adjustments as I go. Blot. Wherever I have an edge that I think is too sharp, I'm blotting. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to quit right there. Touch up a little bit down here. Yeah, so I'm going to stop right here and let you guys put in a sky, and then blot out your white clouds, and then put in a little bit of dark on the underside and on the left sides of the clouds, the shadow sides of those clouds.
So you do water everywhere except the house.
Yep. Water everywhere to start. Yep. Yeah, thank you, Bill. All right. I'm going to move on to another section of the painting. So, and it's, you know, you can't fuss with this for too long, or it starts to get, the paper starts to abrade. So it's probably good about now for you to kind of let it sit for a little bit. I'm going to work on the foreground in this gravelly area, because I see that as very light. I mean, if you look at the picture, the clouds are white. And that done factory, which I'm not putting in, is white. But otherwise, this foreground is kind of another tone. So I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into a little bit of green down here, the grasses. And then then I'll pause there. So we will have covered, you know, a good 3/4 of the painting.
May I ask question?
Yeah.
Okay, can you, is the idea to get the paint, kind of off before it totally dries, or can you go back later and if you decide you want more light cloud? Can you
Okay,
still
if you go back later after it dries, you can do that. You just take a brush with a little bit of water
Okay,
and kind of rub it and pick up the paint with that watery brush.
okay, great, thank you.
Yeah. In fact, I'll do that for you now. If I wanted to, if you're watching it, let's say I'm not real happy with an edge like here, I can take this brush, and I'm just rubbing it, and I'm creating a softer edge than I had before. So, and that one, okay, let's fix that. Just water. And I just fixed an area I didn't like. But you do want it to set up. This has been sitting here for 8 minutes while you guys have been painting, so it does need to sort of set up before you put the water in. Otherwise, it starts to get water goes everywhere. Okay. So let's this gravelly area. What color is that? Gee. I'm gonna take a little ultramarine. Do I want this? I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna do again a little bit of alizarin. Let me see how that looks. I'm just putting it down. Okay, that looks okay. I'm gonna go right over the railroad tracks. I haven't pre-wet this at all. And I'm just okay, so just stay with me. Watch me. Your sky will start to set up while you're doing nothing.
Are you wetting the whole thing?
Nope, I didn't wet it at all. I just threw that on. It's not big enough I didn't feel to really wet it.
And you're using what color?
I just used a little bit of ultramarine and alizarin, which is what I used in the clouds. All right, now I'm going to go over. Okay, yep, this goes right. That goes right off the side there, I think. Okay, now I'm going to mix up a little bit of paint. I'm going to clear my palette with a sponge. I'm going to mix a little bit of. I know. I want to. Here are the driveways that I see. So I'm going to. There's a driveway coming up here, so that's that same bluish gray. I'll leave that at that. This is an old train station that's been turned into a house. So you see some lawn chairs in the background, and it's kind of a lovely space. Except it's right next to a lumber yard and that sort of thing. So now I'm going to go aureolin yellow, or a lemon yellow if you don't have aureolin. And I'm going to get a cerulean blue because I think this looks like it makes a nice, clean, kind of golf course green, I suppose. And I'm painting this. Yeah, I'm going around the building. Get a little bit more color. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh well. Okay, where I didn't want it, I can blot it up. Don't worry about that. Okay, and I'm going to take the green. You see it right in the picture. It's right along the fence there. So I'm going to send it. Down to that box. So it goes around the box a little bit.
You have to put the box in?
You don't have to.
It's an air conditioner.
Is that what it is?
It's what the
Oh, I thought it was something from the freight yard. Oh dear.
steps to get into the building. It could be.
Okay. And now I'm taking a little bit of this green. And I just plain old decided that I was going to have grass on the other side of the railroad tracks here. Just to separate the gravel from the, and I'm going to put a little bush in front of this yard house or just lumber yard. Put a little bit of green. going up there. That's probably good. And I'm gonna have darker trees up here, so I'm not gonna worry how this ends. Oh, and obviously some green over here. And I think do I stop here now? Is that enough? Is that enough for? And if the green blends a little bit into the gravel color, that's okay. The edge doesn't have to be really, really sharp. Yeah, okay, I'll let that go. We'll stop right there. Air conditioning unit, huh? Jeez. Okay.
What were the colors for the green?
Ed, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
The road that you just did with the lizard and the marine, is that have like a purplish hue to
A
it?
little bit, yes. Yep. And I use Aureolin yellow and cerulean blue for the green. You could use, what's your lightest yellow over there, Karen?
Yellow lemon.
Lemon yellow. Put a little bit, touch of lemon yellow with the cerulean blue. So you're taking your lightest yellow and your lightest blue makes a light green, which kind of makes sense. Okay, while you're finishing that, I'll talk a little bit. I'm going to paint the station roof a sort of, well, first of all, I've got to go light to dark. So I need to paint, before I paint my green trees, I need to get my light roof done. So that light color dries, and then I can put the dark color up against it. And I think pink will be a nice color. It's sort of a warm color anyway, but pink will contrast nicely with the green because red and green are opposite colors. So you get a nice little stronger contrast when you have opposites. So I'm going to take a little bit of alizarin crimson. That seems too bright. I'm going to get a little bit of raw sienna, which is my yellowish brown. There we go. I think I want a little more color. Come on. Okay. Now this is a little tricky because I got pointed roofs here, but I put my brush down and I just pull it. I put my brush down there, I just pull it. I go right against the edge and pull it. Don't dab your brush up to an edge. That just makes for a really raggedy edge. Put my tip of the brush right in the corner and pull it.
And which color are you using?
Alizarin and raw sienna. You gonna try to keep up with me?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get that alizarin in there.
All right, so I painted, this is a really, I love the shape of the roof, at the angle that it is and all that. So I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna say the roofs on this my little shed is, I'm gonna add a little more blue to this. I'm gonna say that these roofs for the shed are sort of in the same family. I just want to get these light colors in now, my light values. I can go back in with my darks. Okay, now, here's a question for you. See the window frames under under there? You can see that those are storm windows, triple tracks, they've got white edges, but you don't want those to be as white as your clouds. So you're not gonna leave them white. So, and the same with the sign, I don't really want that Arlington, the lettering to jump out at you as much as it does, because I don't want that to be my focal point. I want my eye to go to this shed down here. So I'm going to do couple things. I'm going to paint the color of white in shadow, which is a little bit of ultramarine and a little bit of my Windsor red. Oh my gosh, I gotta get more color than that. Now it's really, people say, how much red did you put in that? And that's like when you ask someone who's cooking, how much salt did you just put in? Like, you know, like you can't even tell you. So I've got a kind of a off-white here. I'm painting just the whole window frame and the window, you know, the glass part of the window itself also. Boom, boom. Guess there are 3 of them, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and the same is true down here. And there's a little bay window that sticks out. And I see a little bit of a diagonal shadow. I'm going to paint all these windows. Wow, I got to put a couple windows way down here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm going to do this Arlington thing. I'm just going to paint this right now with just a tone of off-white. And if I make these too big, or that's okay, because I'll be coming in with a darker color around it, so I can fuss with that. And so now, you know, what do I paint next? Judy, what do you think I paint next? Judy's not paying attention. I'm going to paint that red shed next. I've got, come on, I want it kind of bright. I'm going to have some red, some Windsor red or cadmium red. Here we go, boom. Up. And a little bit of burnt sienna. It's a weird shaped building because you got I'm going to paint the whole damn thing. All one color. I'll worry about the shadow shapes later. I'm going around. What I saw were bushes. I just put those bushes in to break up the geometry of the green or the red. Okay, and this is a lumber shed, so it's got that funny angle there. And then I'm going to paint. I'm going to paint right into the little shed in the back. And there we are. I don't want this to dribble on me, so I will sharpen that up there. Okay, anything more I need to do here? Okay, I'm going to stop there and let you guys catch up. The tougher things are coming up, and that will be trees and the building itself. But we're getting the light tones in now, and we're letting them set up, and they'll get some good sharp edges.
What were your colors for the shed?
What's that?
Colors for the
I
shed?
did my 2 reds
Alizarin?
and cadmium. I also used a little burnt sienna. That's that brownish red.
And the station house roof was,
That was alizarin and raw sienna, or yellow ochre if you have yellow ochre. There goes our train.
It puts me to sleep.
No, I hear it all the time. I just live right up on Fairway, so I hear it all. I never get tired of it.
It's like the painting's coming to life.
What's that?
It's like the painting coming to life.
Exactly, exactly. Maybe, Kirk, maybe you can paint an engine coming around the corner here.
Very, very far away.
Oh, boy, you did the barn over
What's that?
there? You did the little red barn too?
And what did you use for the sides of the barn there?
I used,
For what it's for?
no, I used the cadmium, kind of this fire engine red,
Oh,
and then burnt sienna, which is kind of brownish,
yeah.
reddish brown.
Are we doing green again?
Yeah, we will. We'll get to the
Okay,
greens.
because I missed some shrubbery. I figure I'll get that the next time.
Yeah, you can do it next time. A little sidebar on browns. I think of the raw sienna or yellow ochre as being a yellowish brown, the burnt sienna as a reddish brown, and the raw umber, which I'm not using today, as a bluish brown. Basically, just keeping in mind that you have a red, yellow, and blue as your basics for your colors, and some of the browns are just off of the red or yellow or blue. I'm about to do the whole station, which is, that's the biggest part of my painting that doesn't have any color on it. So it's this big piece of white that needs to be put in its place. And the tricky thing is you don't want to get it too, well, would we agree that underneath the roof, down under here, it's pretty dark? Up here, it's catching a little bit of light. Even though they're dark shingles, they're a little bit lighter than they are underneath here. So I'm going to take some burnt sienna, which is my reddish brown. I always find this color very sticky. I don't like it. Ultramarine. Okay, I'm going to put that on there and see what I think of it. Okay, there we go. I'm using my 3/4 inch flat brush, which makes a nice straight line when I paint it.
I'm sorry.
I'm going right into the front side and the other one. I'm going right into it. I gotta be careful here.
Hello.
Somehow, I should have paid attention to what I'm doing, because I can't remember the color. Oh, which color are you using that again? Which brown?
The reddish brown.
The reddish, you're still using a reddish brown.
The burnt sienna. I haven't been using it yet. What do you mean, or am I still? This is really tricky. When you get into the corners of these, you're going to be saying, thank goodness we did that roof and it's not wet, because you wouldn't want this to bleed. You want to keep that clean roof shape.
Oh, so dark, so light.
Okay, so reload the brush, and I'm going to take, right down into this rest of this stuff. We're going to go around these windows. Everything, the rest of this whole thing is going to be this color. Now, I've got an interesting,
And it's gonna be difficult.
it's going to be tough. You got to take a deep deep breath.
Yeah. This is watercolor.
All right, I love these struts here.
I knew you'd love those struts.
All right,
Yeah, they are kind of cute.
they are nice. Okay, back to my bigger brush. I'm going right up against these windows. Right through that. I know I've got a strut here, but I'm going right down through it. Oh shoot. Let's go that up. I gotta reload the paint, get some more blue and brown. All the way down. I'm gonna,
Yeah?
what's that?
You're going through the whole thing, huh?
Yep.
Scary.
Well, it's easier than going around doing little, architecturally, try to go around all these little things. Okay, I'm doing a little bit of this fence. It's got a strut at the bottom. Strut at the bottom, and then it's got a curve shape. Okay, bring this right down there. All right. I am going around my doors and windows though. Do you see the diagonal shadow on that bay window?
Yes.
Okay, I just did it. I didn't have to, but I did. Thought that was kind of cool. Now you guys told me there was an air conditioner down here. I thought it was a nice little some freight that got left off. There's another little strut down there. I guess, well, I have this. Huh. Yeah.
You know that's a platform back there. That AC unit.
What's that? The air conditioning thing?
It's not. It's actually, if you zoom in on it, it's a platform at the back end.
Oh, it is. It is with little stairs on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm putting in those stairs right now, Kirk. Huh. Good for you. Thank you.
Well, it's good to be able to zoom in on the phone.
I'm putting in this little chimney thing. That may have been a stupid idea because now I've got to paint around it when I do the tree. Okay, so basically it's the whole thing is all one color. So we'll deal with picket fences and we'll deal with some more shadow colors and things like that in a few minutes. But we're just getting that in. Just watch your edges. If you have a little something that sticks out near the bottom, put that in. You have a couple of these little struts. You want to put them in? That's great. But you're just going to run. It's indistinct anyway, so let all those colors run together. Okay, I'll give you a little time for that one. That's a complex and difficult shape and to keep the same color going is a little tricky. So what do we do next? Have another cup of coffee. Well, we've got everything around the station and the buildings now. So you've got, but the mountains are bluish and lighter than the green trees. And in my drawing, I've made this mountain big compared to compared to the photograph. I know that mountain is bigger because I've been here, but it's only a sliver. But I thought it would be a nice accent. And I'm going to put a little bit of mountain just in the distance above these trees, so you feel like the mountain comes down and then comes out of the valley. So, but I can't put the trees in first and then put in the mountains afterwards. So I have to do the mountains first. So I'll do that. And Judy, what do you think I'm going to use for my mountain color?
Let's see.
Ultramarine
Which one
and
do you like the least?
ultramarine and alizarin crimson. I see it as these sort of purpley blues. So here it is. There it is. See it? So I'm going to go down I'm going to get a sharp edge on the edge of that mountain. It's going to come down. I'll fuss around there. And then where it goes to the trees, take a look here. I'm just going to take that color and just take pure water and bring it down here. I don't want a sharp edge. And here we're going to put that purple in up here. Coming out of the valley, up. And then where it goes into the trees, I'm going to soften the edges so that I don't have these sharp edge. The trees are going to be darker, but I don't want to have a sharp edge down in here. Get what I mean? Okay. So. Now, what do we do here with the trees? And we got to do all the trees at once. And I see some trees as being lighter in tone and value. So I'm going to take a little bit of aureolin and cerulean. So I'm going to have some different greens, because if I have the same green everywhere, it's going to get boring. You don't want boring greens. So I'm throwing this in here, aureolin and cerulean. I'm painting it as one big, I'm not going to do branches or anything. I'm making it one big blob. There's that. It may be a little darker on the left side because the sun's coming from the right, so I'll take my cerulean and put that in there. So now that tree has a little bit of form. I'm going to paint this thing. I'm going to paint this as a fairly light tone. And I'm going to have fairly light, I just decided I'm going to have some fairly light yellows and greens beyond the station. Now what? You gotta be careful because some of this is still pretty wet. This is not wet. All right, so I've got my light greens put in, or my light trees. Oh, let's see, maybe I'll put some on the other side too. You'd think I'd know what I'm doing, but making it up as I go.
Cross my mind.
Okay, so this is where that factory is, and I certainly didn't want to put that damn thing in there, so I'm putting a row of light trees, because the trees are near us, so they're a pretty intense color, kind of a nice golf course green, I guess. Okay, now I'm going to go with some darker greens. So I take a darker yellow, that's my new gamboge. I'll throw a little bit on here to show you. There it is. Okay, but I'm going to mix that with ultramarine. Okay, so the tree is lighter on the right side, and then darker on the left side. Now watch the way I go around this tree here. I'm just going around it. I'm going to come down in here. What am I going to do there? I'm going to go around some trees here. Throw that yellowy color down here, and then the blue right away to create that dark. See that? Do you see how you almost have two trees there? Okay, same thing. I'm going to do a little bit. Another, these may be maples or something. And the dark blue into it. And again, this is I'm painting around my previous tree. All right. All right, I'm gonna take those two colors. I like those. Okay, so I've got some trees on either side that are, I'm going to do this here. See, I've sort of hinted that there are like 3 trees over here. You see that? You know, I'm not getting too detailed there, but I want to have something. Okay, so let's see. Now, distant trees. I'm going to use a little bit of raw sienna or raw umber and the ultramarine blue. And these are going to be more faded, less intense greens. These greens are getting further away from you. You use a less intense yellow, that brownish yellow, and you throw that in here. And those are some other trees. You get a little more strength in here. Got to watch that line of the roof. Boy, oh boy. Okay, how does that look? That looks good. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to take this pine tree. I've decided I've got there's a little one in the picture. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to mix raw sienna and ultramarine. Just watch this little legerdemain here. Flick. Come on, a little bit more water. I flick up. I go off to the side. A little bit more water, please. I know I've got a spine of it going down the middle. And I am just pushing the yellow parts off to this side. Taking the blue parts off to this side. And I've got one of my darkest greens right now against that roof.
Oh, that's pretty.
To make it look like it stands out. Got it?
Yeah.
And I don't fuss with this too much. Shut up, Ned. Stop. Leave it. Leave it. A little bit more on that side. Okay, good. And then now I'm going to take back to my new gamboge and blue. Oh boy. This is sort of the yellow side up here. And this one, because it seems to be a little bit closer, I'm going to make a very raggedy edge. We're going to go right down to the edge of that roof. I'm going to go around this. I knew I would be mad at myself about this chimney. I'm having to paint around it. How's it look on the screen? Does it look all right? Okay, so yellow and then the blue. And I'm going to try to remember to get, if you look at the picture, you see how there's some sky holes you can see through in the tree? Okay, so maybe in a few places I don't quite block it all in. Oh darn, I was saving one and then I went through it. But you don't want to do too many of these, you don't want it to look speckly. And the sky holes are mostly, yeah, usually more at the edges. Right against this building here. Again, I want this, I've told myself this is going to be darker than the building, so I gotta make it darker. It's going to make the building stand out. You see that? A little bit of edges up here.
Oh, it's gonna be a dark tree.
There's a dark tree. And if you ever want to make a tree darker, you add a little bit of red to it, a little bit of alizarin crimson, and boy, you get that baby really nice and dark. Watch that edge. Pull it right along. Okay. Now, do I kind of like this? Am I a good stopping space here? Yeah, maybe a little dark down here. I don't want to get into that too much. Okay, I'm gonna quit there. You've got to have some time to paint. So the greens, you're just changing the yellows from the lemon or aureolin yellow to make your greens, and you go to the new gamboge yellow to make greens. And then in the blues, you go from the light blue, the cerulean, to the dark blue ultramarine, and you gradually get your colors to get your greens to change color. Change value, I should say, there. The color is still green. The value is darker. I like that little tree so much, I'm gonna put in another one. There, I've added a second pine tree in the back. Okay, good, quick.
Ned trick number 9.
You were supposed to see that. Yeah, I do things off camera that I don't tell you about. for. Just get rid of that little white line, go right along there, so you don't have that. There you go, good. And you could get some of your greens a little bit darker at the bottom here. You know how underneath where you would pull weeds from around the roots or something? It's gonna be darker under there.
Right, I just have.
That's all right. Okay. All right, good. Yeah, kind of a bluish green, kind of yellowish green.
Yeah, see, I had to darken that up a little more. I'm having trouble with this line. Pine tree will go there. But this is the mountain.
Right.
I don't know how to fix that because it's light.
I think you want to get a little bit darker, so
Darker,
you don't see that. So you don't see that kind of that edgy.
So I'll make this a little darker. too.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move along and get, we've got to define this. This building is just this big brown lump. And we can get some shadow shapes underneath it. And we got that little picket fence in there, and some odds and ends. We still have to do the tracks, but let's worry. I've moved my the camera or the picture so it's closer up. My painting is closer to the camera. Okay, we're gonna go underneath. What brush am I gonna use? Okay, I'm gonna get the same brown that I did before, ultramarine and ultramarine and burnt sienna. But this is now the brown that's underneath, so it's gonna be darker. Before I get too far into that, I'm gonna put a little bit of a line here and a line up here. An accent there, and yeah, here we go. We're going underneath. What? You can't see? What do you mean? Oh. Oh, I
go do my own.
Oh.
What color was that?
Okay.
Yeah, he gives you a nice reference, but
Yes.
it's still on.
All right. So I'm gonna get dark. This is underneath the.
The swinging thing that swings out, whatever you
Yep.
call it.
Down to here.
I think that's where people could stand in the rain. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now here's where it is.
Trains don't go by there any longer, right?
Yeah, they do. You know, there's a few express what do you call it, trains? Freight trains.
Yeah. Like, at night?
Like it's night.
Yeah. There are a few that come through at night, yeah.
Freight trains can make a lot of noise.
So you're going underneath that little overhang?
Yep.
Ed? Huh?
Yes.
With what, a darker color?
Yeah, the same brown, only just dark, more color, more pigment. And
Sorry about that.
let me see what I'm gonna do here.
Like a burnt umber?
Yeah, burnt umber. Okay, so do I want to keep that little thing there? Do we really see it that much? All right. Okay, so I'm going down, I'm leaving a little hint of so there's sort of a base down here to the building, foundation, if you will. I'm leaving that a slightly lighter color. Now this part, here's this picket fence. And then, where's my smallest brush? I'm gonna take this brush and go, come on, darn it. Okay, small, skinny. It has this little rhythm to it in that it goes down and then up again. So I'm doing the spaces between the posts. There we go. Right? Does that look right?
Speaking of trains.
Speaking of trains, now go back into here. Okay, now what am I doing here? I see this. I see the sun coming down. Okay, I'm trying to leave some of these posts so you can sort of see them, but now I'm redarkening in these windows. They look too bright to me now. So I will leave a little bit of light tone around them, but not too much. Okay, now I'll put a little accent on this. So. Is that good? And some windows over there, but not too much. Now, I'm gonna do the, look at my sketchbook for a minute. When you do lettering, now you don't have to print Arlington on this. You could put Bedford, you could put Kent. You don't wanna put Schenectady. If you look here, whenever you're doing signs, figure out what the most middle letter is. Am I on here? There we go. So the N is going to be in the middle with 4 letters on either side. Then you work your way out. You don't want to start with the A and then run out of room, you know? So notice how I'm, in this little sketch here, I am just putting paint or shadow where the letter isn't. There's the I, there's the N, there's the G. So now the other thing you could do is leave the sign light and then paint a dark letter on there. But I don't want to.
Or superimpose a photo.
Yeah. I don't want this to be too. Okay. There's the R. Ooh. There's the L up to the I. Here's the T. Now you're not going to be able to read this whole thing perfectly. I'm not really interested that you
didn't
can.
have it all watercolor painting.
I'm not interested that you do read it. R.
I'm sorry, that's too well defined.
Ling. Ton. There's the. How's the N go? And there's that one there, and that one there.
Did they charge them for the train station or give it to them?
They bought it. They bought it. Okay. Yeah. Somewhere I lost a letter in there. Let's not worry about it.
Close enough for them.
All right. Close enough, right? Okay. And I'm going to do, while I have it up on detail, I'm going to do this little house back here. Bill, can you still see it on there?
Yeah, we see that.
Okay. So this is a darker version of the red that I had before. I'm going to paint a shadow there. Okay, so there's that building. I've just put in just the shadows of it. And it makes it look a little 3D. Pops out, right? Yeah. And if I want to, I've got that sign there. If I want to put a little accent around it, again, the light's coming from this side, so I will paint the left side and the bottom of it. And that makes a little bit of a sign. Okay. So I'm going to pause there. We still have to do this foreground, the train tracks and some other stuff, but we're about, almost done here. So let me let you do a little bit of work on the buildings, the shadow areas.
And we'll reframe.
Yeah, let me get this back. Bill.
Just do Judy right across there, that'll be easier for you.
Yeah, good luck.
Okay, there we go, Bill. Bring us back to where it was. Ooh.
week?
Nothing.
Yeah, actually, nothing is right. It's Easter Monday, so we don't have class next Monday.
Oh. I'm glad I asked.
Well, I would have emailed you all. Yeah, I don't want people stressing on drawing and stuff on Easter Sunday, and they might be traveling, so. Ooh.
My next main event is Passover.
Okay. on Wednesday.
Yeah, I run down and buy all of my neighbors' leaven products and rent space in all of their places and then sell it back to them after. All of this is done with the rabbi.
Okay, now I'm cheating because I'm painting while you guys are painting, but I'm putting in little hints of shingles.
Oh, boy.
No, it's okay, you got the guy's air conditioner cover across the street.
Yeah. All right, and I put some little clabbered marks on that little red shed in the background. What a big thing. Just to get a little bit of texture. What the heck are we going to do in 5 minutes for the whole train track area?
That real goofy long brush you have?
Yeah. Yeah, that or some splatter, Bill. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Wednesday, Ned?
Yes, and we'll do critique Wednesday at 5 o'clock. I'll explain that a little bit more later too.
Don't we normally do it on Thursdays?
No, Thursday's the day I send out the new picture. Yeah, it's usually Wednesdays. All right, we're getting, I think I've got to just finish this up. I've got the railroad tracks to put in. And that's frightening. Because you want to get the line in right. I see it as sort of, obviously, railroad tracks are rusty and brown and whatever. Okay. This one comes almost right toward us.
Oh, God. We do it with pencil.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then there,
Do it with an inkjet printer, Judy.
Well, we know your little routine over there, the inkjet van, the inkjet van.
and then I'm taking a little bit of blue because it looks flat right now, so I'm gonna get a little bit of
No, you get a steady hand.
Yeah, he's
I'll say.
But he had to do like breathing exercises for a little while leading up.
That's right. Okay, so I'm mindful that the light is coming. Oh, whatever. I'm gonna let that set up for a second. I'm looking. We need some shadows underneath in the lawn here. So let's get some nice dark green over here. There we go. A little bit more ultramarine blue. Comes right along there. Takes a jump over that thing there. The fence has a little bit of a shadow, perhaps. I'm putting a little bit of darks under there. Oh, let's do that. We have a little bit of dark under here. How are we doing there? That's pretty good.
What did you call it the last class when two colors collide? You call them split colors? Where you're mixing two colors, but you kind of like leave them a little separated over on the palette.
Yeah.
And they come together on your brush on the painting.
I had a term for it yet? Let me think. Okay, now I've got this area is just really flat and not real attractive. So wait, I had that green. I'm gonna get that green back. And I'm gonna just put a little bit of splatter on green down here to create a little bit it's a little bit flat for me down there. A little bit of accents of green. Okay, and then the last thing I'm doing is the train tracks, and it's going to be back to the cerulean blue and alizarin. Sorry, Judy, same old, same old. Okay, so what am I going to do here? Jeepers. I'm going to take dry brush, pull it across to create sort of a, what do you call it, a gravelly feel. Using the side of my brush.
I hate to ask, what was the color you used on the railroad tracks?
It was the same as what I've been telling you the whole time. It's the cerulean blue. No, it's the ultramarine and alizarin.
Oh, you're gray. Ugh. As long as I have to make it.
So I just want to create a little bit of just texture down here.
I would have dried too toothbrush
Yeah, that works.
or your fingernail.
Oh,
Okay, how's that look? All right. Again, just kind of breaking it up so it doesn't. Good looking now. How's it look? Scrape a little bit of that down in here. Get a little texture up in here. Okay, I think I'm done. You guys done?
Finish is more like it.
All right. Again, a little bit of texture of shingles here, a little bit of clapper there. I've got this little vertical grid on the fence, hinting at the struts there. Not getting too detailed in there. It is. I mean, underneath there, it's just very dark, so you don't want to get.
Judy, you did this without a computer?
Okay. All right. Bill, I'm going to end the recording on my end.
Okay.
And before I end, we will have send a JPEG to me of your painting as you finish it. And Wednesday afternoon at 5 o'clock, we'll do a critique where we look at each other's work and talk about the struggles and successes we've had on this exercise. So it's not required, but it's kind of fun to share and get to see how everybody solved their problems differently. All right, I'm going to end this for now.